Final Fantasy XIV is a massive game with thousands of hours of content. What I'm going to do here is break down some of the major plot points for those of you who want to know more about Eorzea, but may not have time to experience it all firsthand. This time, we're picking up with the Heavensward portion of the Dragoon storyline. It's been a while since the Warrior of Light saw Albrecht, the former Azure Dragoon who trained you, and he's glad to see that you're still in control of the dragon inside of you. Which is good, because a horde of dragons have been wreaking havoc in Ishgardian territory, and they need you to join a group of Dragoons to fight them off. But first, a nearby call for aid needs your attention. Albrecht sends you ahead, while he and another Dragoon follow. When Albrecht and his fellow Dragoon arrive, you've already dealt with the threat. His companion is a woman named Justine, who briefly oversaw a bit of your Dragoon training quite some time ago. She saw the end of your battle with the dragon, and even though Albrecht trained you, you still don't fight like an Ishgardian. She wants to learn to fight like you. A dragon named Eorzea has been terrorizing Kurthus, and she's been charged with taking it down. She's second in the order of Dragoons, under Estinian himself, but she still doesn't think she can beat the dragon. But with your training, she thinks she can handle it. Albrecht thinks it will help you get stronger too, so you agree to take her on as a pupil. The advice Albrecht has for you is to be patient with your new student and to try to keep her from pushing herself too hard. She's a bit hot-headed. At the moment, she's out testing herself against dragon spawn in the Highlands, so you go to give her a lesson only to find that she wasn't fighting one or two dragons, but a swarm of them. She had tried to fight like you and ended up getting overrun. If she fought a normal way, she would have won easily, which makes you wonder why she's trying to switch from what works for her. She wants to watch you fight, so she can try to copy your moves, so you let her watch while you take down a large dragon. After the fight, she realizes that you don't fight much different from her at all, but where Dragoons are trained to focus primarily on offense, you do something a little different. A simple thing called dodging. On a side note, there's a joke that Dragoons are the floor tanks, so I wonder if they put the whole tunnel vision thing in the story to tell Dragoons to stop focusing just on attacking and, move. In any case, Justine suffers from tunnel vision, and now that she knows it, she'll work to change it. However, it's late and she needs to get back to the congregation where the Dragoons live, and she wants you to come with her. Back in Ishgard, you run into Justine's father, Monaganes, who apologizes for interrupting your plans, but since his daughter badly visits, he has to drop in on her from time to time. Justine was a child whose parents died in the never-ending war with the dragons, and Monaganes adopted her. He was once a Dragoon and the sole reason that Justine joined the order, but she has to get stronger if she's going to become as good as he was. She hopes you can help her do that, but your next lesson will have to wait because Albrecht wants to see you and even Dragoons need a bit of sleep. He didn't want anything important, he just wanted to know how the training was coming. He also knew Monaganes well. The man had been a great warrior until he got hurt and had to retire. Justine has pushed herself hard following in his footsteps until she was nearly Estinian's equal. However, Nidhogg's eye had granted his power to Estinian instead of her, and she figured it was because something was wrong with her. Now she pushes herself so hard that she's going to end up getting herself killed. The Dragon Song War is in full swing, and skirmishes between Dragoons and dragons have caused the forces to be spread thin. Justine is getting ready to join the battle, but she could use more soldiers. So Albrecht sends you to join her in Ishgard, and the sight of you makes her much more happy about their chances. Having the Azure Dragoon fighting with her puts her father at ease too, especially since you're going up against Eorzea and his horde. Before you go, Monaganes gives Justine his own spear for her to use to strike down the beast, and she heads off with a squad of Dragoons. You go to follow, but Monaganes stops you. He wants you to promise that you'll look after his daughter so she doesn't do anything stupid. With that in mind, you head off to battle. The battle is fierce as you and your companions face off against hordes of dragons, but when the battle ends, there's still no sign of Eorzea. Justine begins to wonder if the reports were wrong when the giant worm suddenly appears. In what has got to be the single dumbest maneuver I've ever seen, Justine jumps on the dragon's back and rides it off into the sunset like the end of a really bad romantic comedy. There's not a thing you can do for her, and Brucemont's already ready to write her off as dead. He gives you a piece of her armor he found on the battlefield so you can take it to her father so he can at least have something to bury, because the dragon's definitely going to eat her. He refuses to accept that his daughter is dead, and Albrecht decides to track Eorzea's movements until he finds where he may have shaken your friend off. After a bit of hunting, he hears of a knight who had fought against a band of heretics, There's nothing that strange, except for the fact that one of them was using the lands that Justine's father had given to her. He sends you to join the knights in Riversmeet who are hunting the group, because if they have her weapon, they should know where she is. You follow them and find Justine bound and surrounded. You deal with the attackers and free the Dragoon, only to find out that when she'd rode the dragon, it had taken her straight to the heretics. So many of them overpowered her easily and took her weapon. She overheard them talking about setting up an all-out attack on Ishgard itself, and she wants you to warn the city. And if anyone asks, she wants you to tell them that she's dead. She's clearly injured, but she refuses to return to the city or to tell you why, so you do the only thing that you can and warn Ishgard of the coming attack. However, you can't fulfill her second request, and you tell her father the truth. He's grateful to know that his daughter lives, and he will stop at nothing to see her safe, but you have other problems at the moment. The heretics are indeed planning something big, and you have to stop them. They call themselves the Blood Bearers, and they have the power to transform into dragons by drinking a little bit of dragon blood. They've made an alliance with Grauli, giving them unlimited access to the blood, which is why they have been attacking so frequently. They've been spotted in the Chocobo Forest, which means Justine may be going after them to retrieve her dad's spear, so you and Albrecht head there to seek them out. Justine's already slaughtered them all by the time you get there. Albrecht tries to get her to come back to Ishgard, but she refuses, and she finally tells you why. When she was captured, the heretics forced dragon blood down her throat, and she's already transformed into a dragon. If she comes back to the city, she'll be treated like any other heretic, which, if they just executed her, she would be fine with that, but the Inquisitors would more than likely execute her entire family. So she's going to track down Grauli alone and deal with him. Albrecht wishes things could be different for her, but he's a warrior first and sees an opportunity in this. If she can master her new powers, she may be a match for Grauli. It may be easier for her to be corrupted by the power since she drank the blood, but what she's doing is not really all that different from you and Estinian harnessing the power of Nidhogg through the eye. Whatever the case, you certainly aren't going to let her fight the dragon alone. Some astrologians predict that the dragon will pass a place called the Dreaming Dragon in the Western Highlands, and if you know anything about Justine, then you know she'll be there waiting on it. So the time has come. But with Justine's condition, no other Dragoons can see her or they'll kill her. So Albrecht will make sure that it's only the two of you there to face Grauli. Win or lose, no help is coming. Justine is leaving a trail of dead heretics, so she's not that hard to follow, and despite knowing what his daughter has become, Monargains plans on bringing her home, provided you don't let her die. When you find her, she is about to do battle with the dragon, but the dragon blood flowing through her is racking her body with pain as it tries to take control. She holds it off, and the two of you bring down the powerful creature once and for all. With Grauli's defeat, Justine proved to herself that she could hold off the dragon's corruption in her body, and she will spend as much time as it takes to kill every last dragon in Ishgardian land. Before she can leave, however, her father shows up to take her home, but she won't put her family at risk, even though they are willing to keep her condition a secret. Her father's words do get her to say that once she has fully mastered her dragon blood, she will come back, but until then, she will use her new powers to protect her people in secret. Her words are enough to put her father at ease, and Justine heads off alone to continue her crusade against the dragons. This concludes the Heavensward portion of the Dragoon storyline. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on the next part of the story.